Hello, it's Anne, your personal freedom coach. I have the fantastic opportunity today to have with me Nic Tan, and I'm so happy that he could make it today. Hi, Nick, it's lovely to see you.
Hey, Ian.
Would you introduce yourself for our viewers, please?
Sure. Hey, thanks so much for having me on the show. So a little bit about myself. I basically help my clients restore their gut. So I'm basically focusing integrative health from a gut healing perspective, specializing mostly to help people reverse their autoimmune conditions and live a symptom-free life by healing their gut. Yeah, so it's good to be here.
God, that is fantastic. And I know thanks to you, they are getting better. So, Nick, I would like, you have a fantastic story I fell in love with, which is when you went to Bali with your wife and you absolutely wanted to go diving. And I would love you to tell me all about it because it's a fabulous story for me.
Right. Yeah, thanks. So yeah, it was actually just a simple getaway trip, and I've always been a fan of the ocean. So I've been diving, scuba diving for um, two decades now, and I really love like just being in the underwater environment and like interacting with the marine life and whatnot. So it has always been a passion of mine to explore. Um, and like I guess one of the natural thing was when I'm not scuba diving, I still like to snorkel, and sometimes I just have this like fantasy, right, to stay under the water for as long as I can. And obviously, without any proper training, even though I've seen people done it in the videos and they made it look so simple, I feel that yeah, it's just holding your breath, like anyone can do it. So I figured why not, and decided to give it a shot. But the always kind of like I find that when I imagine things versus doing things on the practical level is a contrast, right? So I thought it was easy. I attempted it and I failed miserably. I think my first attempt was like 20 seconds breath hold to like a minute, and my ear starting to hurt, and I had to like return to the surface grasping for air. So yeah, like that's pretty much the starting point of how I got into freediving. Yeah, my limitations.
Hmm. So, okay, you realize you have limitations, which in your mind didn't exist.
Yeah,
And so, what did you do about it? Because
yeah. Uh-huh.
that was a belief
Mm. Hmm.
or whatever. I'll let you get on with it.
Sure. So, like, obviously, I felt frustrated, and I figured, okay, it's impossible. Why is it so hard, right? And I just gave up, thinking, I was defeated by my own physiology. But the following day, I stumbled upon this dive shop that was offering a free diving course. So I was like, yeah, okay, maybe I need some help, to see how someone who is doing this for a period of time can show me how to break through my limitations. Because obviously I've seen it in videos before, there has to be a way. I just didn't know the way. So, long story short, I went in, I hired an instructor, and we started the following day, and he sat me down and ran through some of the very basic um, like science on breath hold, and like the very basics to understand that all mammals have this innate ability to hold our breath. The reason why we are unable to do that is actually because um, of a mental block. Because whenever we hold our breath for like 15, 20 seconds, what actually happens is like we start to feel uncomfortable and we start triggering like the fight or flight into our brain, going, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to die. I need to take a breath," right? So as a result of that, he taught me how to relax, and also taught me the very basics of like the mammalian dive reflex, which basically exists in all mammals, from dolphins, seals, penguins, whales, human beings. We all have this ability to survive underwater for a period of time. And I think that has been an evolution from the very beginning, since we human living things all kind of like evolved from the sea. So I think that has been with us for tens and thousands of years. Yeah. So understanding this particular angle of what the ability that we have as mammals itself was a breakthrough. And then he basically went ahead and taught me, okay, how do you kind of relax and understand that we are not going to die by holding our breath for longer than 30 seconds. Like we just need to stay calm, because the calmer we are, we use less oxygen, and the more calm we are, we can hold our breath longer. So it becomes almost like a learning how to tap into a meditative state so that we don't trigger the fight or flight response.
It's amazing. I didn't know everybody could die for a long time, but yeah, I can see your point. I can see that we just don't know. And as you say, once underwater, we tend to panic if we think we need to breathe. Ha ha ha! Let me go up. I need some air.
Yep. Hmm. Yeah. Very much so. And obviously, it's kind of like the internal dialogue that we have within ourselves, right? If we feel that, oh my God, I'm going to die because I can't breathe, then that's going to compound things, and like we're not going to be able to stay like holding our breath underwater for a very long time. But if we were to just have that insight because of having a mentor to guide us through the process, we know that we're not going to die. We have to overcome that limiting belief and stay calm and get that firsthand experience. And that was exactly what happened for me. And at the pool session, just with this insight and knowledge to stay calm, that I'm not going to die, I was able to extend my breath hold in my first attempt from 20 seconds when I was trying to do it myself to about 60 seconds just on the first try, having that clarity and that guidance. So that was amazing. Yeah, it was a breakthrough on its own.
That is amazing. That's a real breakthrough, really. It is fantastic. Could you tell us about what went at the next session and the next session, please?
Yeah, sure. So, like in order to do that, we have to just briefly share with you how things works on a physiological standpoint, very briefly. So whenever we hold our breath and start to go underwater, right? A couple of things starts to happen from our autonomic nervous system's point of view. One of which is actually our heart rate starts to fall, and the heart rate can actually drop to about 10, 25%, depending on how long you have been training, how consistent is your training. And when the heart rate starts to drop, we actually start to consume less oxygen. That allows us to survive underwater. So that gave me more confidence having this information. The other thing which is quite interesting is when oxygen supply drops, like carbon dioxide starts to increase. And that basically triggers the Bohr effect that basically allows our red blood cells to transport oxygen more efficiently into our cells. So that actually keeps us alive and oxygenated longer, right? And then the third one is basically what is called vasoconstriction. And that's a survival mechanism that comes with pressure as we dive deeper. And what happens is the blood vessels around our hands, our arms, our fingers, toes, they basically starts to constrict so that the blood starts to stay more concentrated in our vital organs like our heart, our brains, our lungs, and that helps keeps us alive. And along with that is basically the blood shift to protect our vital organs from pressure as we go deeper and deeper into into the ocean. Yeah. So with that overall understanding, like that gave me more confidence to understand, okay, so that's how the professional free divers do it. That's how like some of the sea gypsies in the Philippines, how they were able to, dive into the ocean to spearfish and hunt for food. And, obviously our ancestors have been doing that for thousands of years. So it became something that seems natural to me once I had that know-how, that mental breakthrough, so to speak. Yeah.
It's fascinating. I didn't know all that. So I'm learning a lot. Thank you for
Yeah.
the learning experience.
Mhm.
And then what happened when you finally went for
Mm.
your dive,
Yeah.
your dream dive?
Yeah, okay. So with that understanding, um, like I was able to gain confidence over a period of like 2 days, and I was able to go out in the open ocean with my mentor, and he was able to guide me through from diving down to 5 meters, 10 meters, and eventually to 20 meters, based on obviously the science that he provided and the understanding to help me understand how I was able to achieve that. And that achievement was accomplished in a matter of, I think, 2 or 3 days. And yeah, like, and I was able to kind of break my own mental limiting beliefs and also like overachieve my goal. Because for me, my goal was like, okay, if I could go down to 10 meters, that's great. But I kind of like went past that and was able to go down to 20 meters.
This is amazing. It is really an amazing story. Um, and I like when you say you've been able to go and get rid of your limiting belief with the understanding of the science and all that. So, how would you apply it in everyday's life? This getting rid of limiting belief, and how can it, in your opinion, how can it help people to
Mm.
go and do what they want?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's several components to it. Having a mentor, like a good mentor that that you aspire, that inspire you, to basically pick their brains and have them guide you along the process. That is always something that's very invaluable because they are able to not just share the science. The science is obviously very important to kind of understand how things works, but also the guidance to help us through the step-by-step process so that we can achieve like amazing results in a very short amount of time. For myself, I've always believed in mentorship. I'm always willing to invest in myself just to help me speed up the process to learn things fast. And for me, having a good mentor is the same thing as reading like 10 books, but with that practical experience, which is amazing. And I think practical experience is really like huge from an achievement standpoint because once we have that first-hand experience to know how things are done, like no one can take away that experience from us. Like it's almost like adding something into your life skill, into your library that you can tap into when the situation requires us to do so. Yeah.
Well, it is. I mean, it would be really difficult to try to figure it all out
Mm.
on our own.
Yeah.
I think that that would really make life hard, and I think that would be one of the reasons why people give up,
Mm.
because it seems too much like a huge wall to climb and you have no direction, and just your arms goes down, say, I can't do that. And the point is, of course you can.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah,
So
very much so. Yeah. It's I think what's valuable from having a mentor is they are able to break things down into like small steps, right? And what it's not just the steps, but also the order so that you know exactly what is the next step to take, what to prioritize, so that you don't feel overwhelmed by what you shared, right? It can be something very simple, such as health or meditation or anything in general. Like the actual doing is actually not hard, but to be able to do it right, do it well, in order to see that result, I think that's where I trip up a lot most of the time, and I see that happening with my clients as well. But the moment that we are able to have someone guide us through the process and point out like details, like really minor details, do more of this, do less of that, like it's a game changer. Like, and you can actually see a very powerful shift in the overall experience.
Well, I think it makes a big difference in our life. Well, it did for me anyway, because I always had a mentor too, is to know somebody has your back
Mm,
and
right.
you have support. And that really made my own life so much easier. I don't think I could have done it without,
Mm,
or maybe I would. I just don't know. I didn't have to.
right. Yeah.
Anything you would like to add? And where can people find you?
Yeah. So people can find me on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. I go under the handle ONE, Nic Tan, Nictan. And yeah, happy to connect there. I post daily on health optimization tips, gut health, and all things to help people live like a better, healthier life. And like it's just a little bit about what I do and a bit about my life that I live here in Mexico.
Thank you so much. Of course, all of Nick's detail will be in the show note below. And Nick, thank you so much. I am so appreciative that you made it here. We've been trying to connect for a wee while, but finally it happened. Thanks God for that. And well, maybe I'll see you when I go to Cancun myself.
Yeah, sure. And yeah, thanks for having me. It's really nice to finally meet you. And if you're ever in town again, be sure to give me a shout and let's catch up.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Nick.
Thank you, Anne. Thanks for your time.